So today I wanted to talk about Chopper and just continue some of my thoughts I had on Chopper, because I first made a video about, why it seems that Chopper's bounty is low, kind of like the hate he's been almost getting from Oda, and why Oda's not writing him out to be, as great as Oda's kind of implied that he is. And now today I want to talk about kind of the hate on Chopper from the fans and some of the stuff I see, which I don't quite understand, because a lot of people say Chopper is trash, Chopper is the worst. Now, if you're saying Chopper is the worst from a standpoint of what you personally like and what you personally enjoy from a character, and Chopper just happens to be your least favorite, that's fine. But a lot of the thought and the kind of consensus that a lot of people have come to, and this is not everyone, but a lot of people have come to the consensus that Chopper is just trash, and they have no expectations for him whatsoever. In this video, I just want to talk about him and Sanji, because I've seen, the video I think that was made by Moss Headhunter and some of the videos by JD Legend going back and forth, and also some of the comments in those videos, and that whole thing just kind of motivated me to make this video. Now, for those of you who are new, I'll not only ask you to subscribe, but if you are new and you're not up to date with the series, I will put a spoiler tag just in the description. You can check that out to know where you need to be to watch this video without spoilers, because I do this for all my videos. So yeah, go check out my other videos as well. Now, beginning with their backstory, Sanji's backstory, from what we know, starts from when he was in the German Kingdom, of course, when he was born. And Sanji, due to genetic factors outside of his control, due to his parents, his mother on one side, his father on the other side, was born a little bit different from, his siblings and everyone else in the German Kingdom. And for that very reason, he was looked down upon. He was, bullied, persecuted, tortured mentally and physically repeatedly for years and years and years by his family, the people who are supposed to love him from the day he was born and appreciate him no matter what. And we kind of feel sorry for Sanji, and we kind of we don't, maybe not understand is the right word, but we can empathize with his position and the way he feels towards his family and just his struggle. And so when he finally gets the chance to leave, he's had enough, he decides to go out into the world and look for a group of people who will accept him more than his family did. Looking at Chopper, his backstory is almost identical in the fact that due to factors outside of Chopper's control, he was born slightly different, which caused, a lot of torture, both mentally and physically, from other reindeers that were part of his family, reindeers who were supposed to once again love him from the day he was born. And once Chopper had had enough of this persecution, both mentally and physically, he decided to leave in search for people who would love him for who he actually is. Now, it's very interesting to note that at the time this happens in this story, there's a very big similarity because of the Grand Line in the New World, which I made a video about. But just to recap for the purpose of this video, when we enter the Grand Line, the biggest pirates, the biggest wall in front of the Straw Hats are these 7 great pirates known as the Warlords. We had met one before in the sea before, which was Mihawk, and now we're here and we're in this big arc or big saga leading up to beating one of them. Once again, in the New World, we enter the New World with these 4 incredible pirates known as the Yonko, one of who we had met in the previous sea in Whitebeard, and this whole saga leading up to defeating one of them. And of the arcs leading up to this saga of defeating one of them, only one arc in the whole thing, just before the end, just before the main arc rather, has nothing to do with defeating them. In the arc leading up to defeating Crocodile, Drum Island is the only one that has nothing to do with defeating Crocodile. In the arcs leading up to defeating Kaido, Whole Cake Island has nothing to do with defeating Kaido. And it's in these 2 arcs that we get these 2 characters' backstory and understand who they are. Now, moving on through their backstories, we have Sanji once again, who he found people who accepted him a bit better but not really understood him, and so he still felt isolated until Zeph came along. And maybe not at first, maybe it wasn't great at first, but over time they built a bond. Zeph trained him, Zeph made him into a better person. He taught him how to live, he taught him how to cook, he taught him how to become the man Sanji is today. Similarly with Chopper, even after leaving the reindeers and all of them, he went to look out for people and no one accepted him. He still felt alone. And then he met Hurlook, and although it was not a great meeting at first, over time they came, they warmed up to each other. And Hurlook then taught Chopper about life, about everything that's there, which was then handed over to Correa, who taught him how to be a doctor, who taught him how to be a better person once again. So obviously in their backstories, these two people have had parent figures who weren't actually their parents, but trained them to become better people because their actual families hated them. So now let's move away from their backstory and talk about them right now and what they like to do, what are they interested in. Of course, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out, but Chopper is interested in being a doctor and Sanji wants to be a cook and he loves being a cook. And of course, if you think about it, at the end of the day, these are arguably the two most important, roles on a ship, apart from probably a navigator, to help steer the ship. But these two are people who you can literally not survive without. I mean, as proven by, their need when the Straw Hats met them. Nami, who was almost dying, and the whole crew was almost starved to death by the time they met Sanji. Right? And these two, their similarities go a bit more than that, because even their fighting styles include, references to, being a doctor, references to being a chef. And both of them have kind of handicapped their ability to fight because of this. Sanji, who believes in the fact that his hands are only meant to cook, and so he should never use his hands in a fight, has kind of handicapped his ability to fight because of that. And Chopper, who is the doctor and believes in healing people, always has trouble, starting a fight, essentially. Starting to actually fight back and to beat people up, unless the situation is very dire. And so both of them have this cap, but it's not entirely bad. Also, their dreams are very similar because naturally in the world of chefs and cooking and all that, the dream of all chefs is to find the all blue. And also as a doctor, the dream of all doctors probably in the One Piece world, is naturally to be able to heal everyone. And not to have any person die from anything you cannot, that's too beyond your capabilities. And so both of them have a dream which is just the natural pinnacle of anyone within their field. Now coming into the new world and the post-time skip, a lot of people are unhappy about, Chopper's change, his character design, the fact that he looks more like he was made for marketing than he does the One Piece story, which is really understandable. But on the other hand, if you look at Chopper's character, it really hasn't diminished. Chopper is still the same motivated person he was. On the other hand, if you look at Sanji also did take a blow with the post-time skip, and it's taken Sanji a while to get back to where he is now, even though he's probably not fully back to his old pre-time skip self. Because throughout Fisherman Island, Sanji was having nosebleeds for most of the time. Sanji's been chasing girls more than he has been, paying attention to his own crew members. Yes, they are stronger now, but this is a stronger sea. And so Sanji's kind of been neglecting the one job he was really known for and really loved for throughout the pre-time skip. And so both of these characters have suffered a similarly fatal blow coming to the post-time skip. Now, some of the differences between these two characters and just, what makes them, on the other hand, very different from each other is kind of their growth as characters. Sanji, who was born in the German kingdom, genetically weaker than his whole family, treated as a weakling and treated as less than everyone else, has now grown and is still growing to become a strong, dependent person, which was also part of what we saw during the whole Cake Island arc, and everything that, Sanji was proving to his family, whether it was something that he was doing consciously or subconsciously at the same time. And now on the Straw Hat Pirates crew, he's, one of the people who protects the crew. Actually, he's the only person between Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji really known for protecting the crew actively. And being the older brother, being the figure that's experienced a lot of the world, because Sanji is one of these Straw Hats that has, on average, a better understanding, more knowledge of things that go on in the world than the rest of them. On the other hand, Chopper when he was born and through eating the human fruit has, was given that image of a monster, of someone who is too scary to relate to, and he spent, a lot of time trying to come down to human level, essentially. And so while Chopper's been coming down, Sanji's been coming up, trying to be treated as equals with everyone else and be seen just like another person, to be loved and to be part of a group that accepts them, essentially. Now for Chopper, again, he's played more of the more inexperienced role, someone who's trying to learn, who's a younger brother, part of the coward trio, who Sanji has been defending throughout a lot of the story, and that we've seen this kind of interaction between two characters with similar backstories. One who was treated as weak, playing the role of the protector and kind of fitting into that role, and that role being made for him to grow into, while the other one has been treated as a monster, and now he's playing the role of the person who needs to be protected and fitting into that role, while both being competent and being diverse in their own ways. Now, of course, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that Chopper is a better character than Sanji. I'm simply pointing out some of the similarities that make these characters very, alike to each other. Which is why I also don't get this hate, once again, when people say that Chopper is terrible compared to Sanji and Chopper is so trash. Because at the end of the day, Chopper might be the most relatable. The fear that Chopper has, the way Chopper experiences the world, his love for cotton candy, sweets, and just kind of understanding, being fearful of stuff that people would normally be fearful of, enjoying himself with these straw hats, acting like a big brother to Carrot, who is actually not really that much of a big brother, in the end of the day. But Chopper has this character which is more relatable to people, but for some reason people don't like that, and they want to go after Sanji, who is slightly more of the unrealistic person, if we compare them to real life people, of someone who is brave, of someone who can jump in the face of danger, of someone who doesn't really care. Well, he cares, but he makes it seem like, he can just be detached from his emotion and jump straight into danger. But basically what I am trying to say is that, look, if you look at Chopper, if you look at, comparing him to other Straw Hats, yes, Chopper has his shortcomings. Chopper is not the ideal cool character that we all like. But Chopper is the more understandable one. And I think that Whole Cake Island and Sanji's backstory served as part of a kind of greater unraveling of just how and what Chopper went through as he was growing up. Kind of Chopper's whole journey into becoming the person he is, and also being interested to see where Chopper's journey takes him, because between Sanji and Chopper, both of them, the end of their journey is not in being great fighters. The end of Sanji's journey is, involves being a chef, involves, living the dream of finding the old blue, cooking, and all that. The end of Chopper's journey involves being able to be a competent doctor, healing people, and just making people up, and for both of them, making people happy through their practices. Anyway guys, this brings me to the end of my video. As always, please like, subscribe, and leave your comments down below. If you know someone who hates Chopper for almost no reason and thinks that Sanji is also very great at the same time, then show them this video. Maybe they can gain some new perspective. If you have time, please watch one more video. If not, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next one.